Sam Iheanacho is the lead pastor of Destiny Life Redemption Chapel in Enugu, one of the fastest growing churches in the southeast region of Nigeria, from where he carries out his God-given mandate of building a balanced life to the rest of the world. He served for 15 years in Grace of God Mission, where he held various pastoral positions and rose to the office of the National Campus Coordinator and a branch pastor. He's a seasoned conference speaker in high demand because of his insight in the Word of God. He has a passion for leadership and hosts the yearly Leadership and Church Growth Conference. He consults for churches and other organizations on leadership and organizational culture, and also the host of Destiny Encounter, a weekly radio broadcast that cuts across the Southeast. He is a director with Iheanacho Properties. He is a graduate of Business Administration and a product of Taster Leadership Academy, currently running his doctorate on strategic leadership and management. But he is a respected role model and mentor to many. He has authored 4 books, including Don't Die Yet, Scaling New Heights, The New You, and the Leadership and Wisdom Point. Ladies and gentlemen, with a round of applause and a standing ovation, let's make welcome Pastor Sam Iheanacho.
Thank you. You can be seated. Thank you, the twin and the Okikes, for all you do. Your commitment to create a platform where young people are trained and nurtured and focused for the future. Appreciate your commitment and tenacity to that ability to be able to give to the society. You keep that work on. I was asked to speak on building organizational structure that thrive with excellence. And I'm sure that people here will appreciate what I'm going to teach, because it might be a bit high. And I don't know how many people here that run structure, that run organizations, so to say. But, however, principles are universal and can be applied any day, any time. It's either you apply it to organizations or you apply it to your personal life. I am passionate about leadership, especially as it is with our country. Nigeria, it's the way it is because of bad leadership, which is very obvious. And it's been propounded that everything rises and fall on leadership. Your family is the way it is because of the leadership. Nigeria, it's the way it is. The churches and organizations are the way they are because of poor leadership. So if we get it right at the leadership base, we'll get it right at all levels. If the head is correct, the body will be correct. Very important. So organizations are consciously or unconsciously designed to produce the results they are producing. Talking about building a structure that thrives with excellence. Organizations are designed to produce the results they are producing, consciously or unconsciously. Like leadership repair is an organization, repair is an organization. Consciously or unconsciously, your result in life is your default. Those of you who use phones, you have a default mode. If you're not conscious, your result will always be your default. You know, there is no magic about an improved result. You're a student here, at the end of the term or semester, depends on your level, your result is your default. So consciously, unconsciously, at any time, you are designing yourself for the result ahead of you. So it is better to be conscious in designing for a better result. Organizations are predictable systems. Life is predictable, and organizations are predictable. If you know somebody that has a future, or if you see somebody that has a future, you know by their daily routine. There is no accidental success. It is only accident that happen by accident. Nobody accidentally, he succeeded by accident. No. You are a product of your daily routine. So it's better to be conscious in designing a structure that will help your future. And there are critical elements we must engage for this design. There are critical elements we must engage for this design. So the leader's first assignment is to get the architectural design of his organization or better your life. You need a structure, you need a system, you need strategy. You know, some of these things are a bit high, like I said, if we're going to appreciate that. And every organization must have these three elements to succeed, or an individual life. What is structure? Structure is how organizations or ministries or individuals are organized to perform their work. How you are organized to perform your work, which includes hierarchy, who does what. In a home, in a family, in an organization, like systems are formal and informal process that link your daily operations. And then your strategy is how you intend to get from point A to point B in your journey of life. Now hear this. You can't think about building without a structure. You can't think about tomorrow without a structure. You can't think about success without a structure. We must be open to structure in building. This tent has a structure. But structure can disable or enable growth if it is not taken care of. So you must, any building that is default of structure is a coffin in making. That's why you see buildings that collapse here and there, because the structure was not well laid. What is the essence of structure? It will help you minimize issues. Growth can be threatened for lack of structure. You will never grow well as an individual or as an organization without structure. Resources can be hindered where there is no structure. For example, for this conference going on, there is no structure. Nobody monitors who does what. Nobody monitors who spends what. There will be anarchy without structure. Your life will not have any bearing without structure. Structure will help you reduce tension. A lot of people live their lives under tension. Structure will help you handle diversities of life, because life is dynamic. So there is a strong relationship between structure, goals, and system. Structure is who does what. There are ushers in this conference this morning. There are people handling media. There's somebody who is moderating. It's the structure that brought about that. Structure talks about who does what. Goals is about what are we doing now and what are we setting up a goal to achieve. Where are we going to? And system is how do we do what we do. These things are very important. Sometimes it's our daily life, but we don't know what they are as we engage them. Structure works best when it is done around your purpose and mandate. If you're going to structure your life, you must structure it within your purpose and mandate. So you don't build a system that is anti your goal. You don't also leave structure for people to figure out. It must be established so that whoever is joining an organization, your family, your life, will fit into an existing system. Because there is no compromise where there is no standard. Anybody, assuming there is no standard in this conference this morning or this today, anybody can walk in here and do anything. But when there's an established structure, people fit into the structure. We run a country where anybody does anything. Like I was preaching on Sunday in our church. And I told them if there is no police and there is no road safety, an average Nigerian will not renew his papers. I'm telling you. An average Nigerian will not renew their life. There are a lot who drive without license. That's how bad it is. But you don't need somebody to police you to obey traffic light. There is a lifestyle you live and you're telling yourself you're local. Because if you do that across the board, you'll be arrested and tested whether you are mentally right. A lot of Nigerians have psychological problems, mental disorder. You don't need MOT to know that when you get to a traffic light, you should stop when it is red. So when people do that, break structure, I conclude that they are animals, something is wrong with their brain, and then they are blaming Buhari. So structure is not about, let me put it this way, there is no size or human being that does not wear clothes. So structure is dynamic, and structure changes with time. If organizations or individuals begin to grow, they begin to adjust their structure to accommodate the growth. If you don't adjust your structure, it can hamper your growth. So while we structure our lives, while we structure our organizations and family, we should leave it open to accommodate for growth. So let's step up a bit. But you must structure with excellence in mind, because we're talking about building a structure that thrives with excellence. Then what is excellence? Because some of us need to understand what excellence is. Very fundamental and basic. There is a big difference between a 1-star hotel and a 5-star hotel. It is quality. The difference is quality in delivery, quality in service, the ambience, and possibly location. The difference is quality. Quality comes in various degrees. That is where the word excellence comes, which is possessing good quality in an unusual degree. Excellence is possessing good quality. Whether you like it or not, life is rated. All schools are not the same. All nations are not the same. The president of Zambia and the president of United States of America are not the same. They are all presidents, but life is rated. Even in the spiritual world, there are archangels and there are angels. It is an error to think that all men are equal, all organizations are equal, all churches are equal. It's not true. Life is rated, and you choose your level by the quality you exhibit per time. You choose your level by the quality. People come into town, as you mean, somebody just relocated and want to get his children into school. They will ask, is there any good school around here? Because you want your children to attend a good school. And somebody will tell you there's one here, but the better one is. So even without your knowledge, you are being rated. And without your knowledge, people place you. So excellence is possessing a good quality in an unusual degree. Quality is quality any day, anytime, anywhere. Excellence is a journey and not a destination. Excellence is surpassing ordinary standards. Excellence is surpassing ordinary standards. Excellence is going beyond what is good. After this conference, somebody who didn't come will say, how was the conference? Well, good. If somebody said good, it means it wasn't excellent. Excellence is going beyond what is good. Now hear this, everybody. Man has the capacity to recognize what is good, but this capacity can be damaged with time if you're not conscious. Men have the capacity to recognize what is good, but the capacity, God created us in his image. And after God created, he looked at what he created. I'll come to that. If you're going to achieve excellence, you must understand the law of evaluation. Evaluating your process. So God looked at what he created and said it is good. And that capacity to recognize what is good is in us. But the truth is that if you're not conscious, you can damage that capacity. If you grow up in a culture, even from your house, where you don't sweep your house well, your mother doesn't care how the kitchen looks like, your capacity to recognize what is good can be damaged by the culture you grow up in. Hey. You grow up in a house that is always dirty, smelling. You can go to any school that is dirty, smelling. You can be comfortable with an organization that is dirty, smelling. Because where you're coming from, your culture damaged your capacity to recognize what is good. So there is no inbuilt excellent culture in you. And that is one of the things we suffer in Nigeria, where anything goes. Touch your neighbor and say, I hope your capacity to recognize what is good is not damaged. Get an answer. I hope your capacity to recognize what is good is not damaged. So becoming a person of excellence can make you stand out among your equals. Because excellence builds your self-esteem. Excellence promotes and opens doors for you for recommendations even without your knowledge. To achieve your structure with the excellence, you must take note of this following, and that is where I'll end. Number one, be intentional and deliberate about what you want out of life. Take this point and take them serious. If you're going to achieve excellence, I'll build a structure that will thrive with excellence. Be intentional and deliberate about what you want out of life. Now listen, if you don't have a choice, life will give you one. Young people, listen to me. We live in a nation where you apply to read medicine, they give you a library, you read it. If you don't have a choice, life will give you one. And when life gives you one, you take it. What are you going to read? And I pastor a church. I mentor a lot of young people. What do you want to become? Anything. What do you want to read in school? Anything. If you don't have a choice, life will give you one. Somebody say, I have a choice. Say it well. Have a choice. If you're going to achieve excellence, you must be intentional about what you want out of life. Excellence is a choice. You can become the most excellent person in the midst of mediocres. You will never approach anything excellence if you settle for mediocrity. Have a goal for your life and don't limit your dreams. The greater your expectations, the more chances of excellence you have. Number two, point to take note of if you're going to achieve excellence through a structure or a structure for excellence, you must evaluate every process. Sorry. After this conference, the leadership of Rebirth should be able to sit down and evaluate the process, or else you will not achieve excellence. I pastor a church every Monday, 6 p.m. All the pastors of the church meet to evaluate our yesterday service from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. We are getting report from all units who overshot. What is the report from Ocean? What Ocean department? What is the observation? What is the report from statistics unit? What is the observation? And several like that. Even God looked at what he created and said is good. If you don't sit down and evaluate your process, you absorb anything, and at the long run you discover you are a mediocre going nowhere. A meaningful life is led consciously. So be in touch with your innermost feelings and develop an inner life, and listen to the inner voice that rates what you do. You must evaluate every process to be able to achieve excellence. Know where you didn't get it right. Know what needs to do to get it right. Number 3, you must learn the law of exposure and observation if you're going to structure for excellence, or if you're going to thrive in excellence. To live effectively is to live with adequate information. People don't fail in exams because they don't know anything. They fail because they don't know enough. You're a student here. People fail at the end of the term or semester, not because they don't know anything, but because they don't know enough. Somebody who wrote something and got 10%, did he pass? I'm asking you, did he pass? But he wrote something. So why did he fail? Not because he don't know anything. You can't tell somebody you don't know anything. You can tell somebody you don't know enough. Somebody knows something. Everybody knows something. But you don't pass by knowing something. You pass by knowing enough. So adequate information, understand the law of exposure and observation will help you live an excellent life. You walk into a conference like this, you're not learning. Exposure, travel, take your time, take a trip, go beyond your kitchen. Especially these days, the world is a global village, and the internet is a village square. You can go to Dubai on your phone. Exposure. Listen. Wherever you are aiming at, somebody's living there. Go for mentorship. I may possibly I'll come to that. Exposure. I remember 2014 when I arrived in the US, I was like trying to be happy that I went to US. And I had a voice for the first time. Some people's future is some people's past. Somebody's future is another person's past. So I humbled myself in the airport. Somebody arrived here 30 years ago. Did you hear that? Some people's future is some people's past. Something happens to your mind our mind has capacity to be expanded. And when it's expanded, it does not return. A rubber band is useless if it's not stretched. Stretch your mind. That's how to achieve excellence. So in your observation and law of exposure, you must be teachable and willing to learn. Exposure expands your mind, and your lack of exposure can be a limitation. Exposure expands your mind, and your lack of exposure can be a limitation. Number 4, I have to rush because I was given only 30 minutes. I don't teach for 30 minutes. Number 4, give your assignment all it takes and get adequate knowledge for your assignment. Excellence is mastering a course. your assignment all it takes. We celebrate mediocrity a lot in this country. People are not just promoted, people outgrow their space. Give your assignment, be the best in what you do. Stop celebrating mediocrity. Whatever your assignment is, give it your best shot. As a matter of fact, you don't even know who is observing you when you're delivering. That's how to achieve excellence. Learning and knowing how to master what you do and do it well. You can grow every day. You can improve from where you used to be yesterday. It's a course, I used to say it every time, to be found at the same spot every year. Life is a movement. If you're not changing levels, you're under a course. If somebody meets you after 20 years and says, hey, you've not changed, it's a course. After 20 years, somebody may tell, hey, you've not changed. Is what? It's a course. Life is a movement. Life is not stationary. If after today and I meet you in the next 10 years and found you the same spot, you're not growing. It's a good compliment from someone. So you see you after 1 year and say, hey, you've changed. You say, yes, I'm growing. Look at your neighbor and say, you changed. You change for good. Number 5, set standards and maintain the standards. There is no compromise where there are no standards. You will always be a happy person if you constantly live up to your standards. Set standards. And everybody around me knows that I live my life by standards. If you're going to achieve excellence and structure a life organization for excellence, set standards. Learn to cultivate a public image by getting a reputation that sets you apart and make you an extraordinary person. Set standards. Don't be the type that anything goes. If somebody's talking about you, you say, are you sure he will like this? I beg, he will like it. But you should be a kind of person when they talk about approval of things as regards to you. Approval as regards to you. They will say, are you sure he will like it? I know him. This is below his standards. Set standards. And then finally, you must understand the law of value. I want to close with this. Any person, organization, family that will structure for excellence must understand the law of value. Excellence is about value. Your shop is excellently designed because you value your customers. Your school is excellently designed because you value the students. When you lack value, the law of value, you will not be excellent driven. How do value work? You must constantly add value to yourself. That is the beginning of the law of value. And then you must value people. Number 3, you must understand what people value and then understand what God values. That is the law of value. Why we have a lot of potholes in Nigeria is because our leaders don't value the people. You can never be excellent conscious if you don't understand the law of value. For you, as a businessman seated here and your shop is always dirty, nothing is arranged, and you think that customers should come, well, as a matter of fact, you attract customers at your level who also value what you value, because value is magnetic. Value doesn't beg. Value is like a petrol. If you bring in a gallon of petrol into this building now, in the next 5 minutes, everybody will say, there's fuel around, there's fuel around. Value is perceivable. You can't carry value and be ignored. You can't carry value and be ignored. Value is magnetic. Value is perceivable. So if you add value to yourself, and then you must also value people, understanding that everybody you see on the street is an extension of God. So you must place value. As a taxi man, you're not going to carry a passenger. Your car should be neat because you value your passenger. So anytime you are value conscious, you'll be excellent conscious. Why people hit below the bed is because they don't have value for lives. And then you must understand what people value to be able to be an excellent person. When we're about to start our church, Destiny Life, far back, after working for some 15 years in Grace of God Mission, was paying 3 million naira to have church here. Value. Somebody say, what a waste. You can clear one bush and put a canopy. I say, canopy people will come. I can do anything for Jesus. 3 million naira is small. But that's my value. That's my value system. What you do and where you are determines who you attract. That's value. Millions of people think that in order to get ahead, you have to be selfish. No. When you place value on people, you will grow naturally. With these few points of mine, I've been able to convince you that excellence will keep you ahead of your crowd.
I think you can do better than this. When we started, we said we are cheerful people, right? And we celebrate everybody, right? And we celebrate everything that is spoken here. You must be what? Valuable. Let me not start another session. Without wasting our time, I'm going to be inviting the next